Hi guys, my name is Naza Fanisa. My student's number is 200705136 and I'm from English B and I want to present about forensic linguistic analysis of Virginia Woolf's suicide notes. Introduction. Olson, 2008, page 2. Olson explained that forensic linguistics have also been asked to analyze text purporting to be suicide notes. Even though the police in such case may not suspect foul play, it could be important to attempt to establish whether the question text can throw any light on the cause or circumstance of death. The application of linguistics in the analysis of suicide note plays an important role in investigating the genuineness and the intention of suicide notes. The scope of this study is semantics forensic analysis. Whether it is from the lexical choice the phrase or the sentence, meaning by Virginia Woolf, in her suicide notes to her husband and her sister. Adeline Virginia Woolf, 25 January 1882 until 28 March 1941. Adeline was a British and one of the foremost modernists of the 20th century. Her famous works include the novels Mrs. Dalloway, 1925, To the Lighthouse in 1981, and Orlando in 1928, and the book Like a Sigh, A Room of One's Own in 1929. Woolf was known as an unstable woman. Her breakdowns and depressive periods were caused by the death of her mother, her half-sister, and her father, and also influenced by the sexual abuse by her half-brothers. Virginia Woolf married the writer Leonardo Woolf on 10 August 1912. Throughout her life, Woolf suffered from the period mood swing and nervousness. On 28 March 1941, she went for a walk, leaving notes behind, and was reported missing. Her body was found on 18 April 1941 in the River Ouse near her home. She was believed to have committed suicide by filling her own pockets with stone and drowned herself. Her suicide note to not husband was published and misquoted in several newspapers, which made the local coroner suggest that the onset of World War II and the destruction of her house that had been bombed twice during the Blitz as the main reason of her suicide. But later on, some psychologists suggest that her suicide might be triggered by bipolar disorder. The aims of this study are to prove the genuineness of Virginia Woolf's suicide notes, reveal the intention behind her suicide notes, and investigate the real motive for her suicide. Discussion. Traditional LIWC dimension reflect the percentage of total words within the text. I words is the percentage of first-person pronoun used I, me, and my. Social words indicate the percentage of words that show social relation and activity. Positive emotions stand for the percentage of words that show positive emotions. Negative emotions show the percentage of words that show negative emotion. Cognitive process show the percentage of words that show cognitive process and cognitive complexity. Based on Newman, Pennebaker, Berry, and Richard's investigation on lying behavior, when the participants were lying, they used more negative emotion and fewer first-person singulars. They also use higher total word count. Cognitive process can be seen by the use of exclusive words. Exclusive words are used at higher rates among people telling the truth, said Newman et al. 2003. Based on this percentage, Virginia Woolf's suicide notes are considered genuine and have a positive emotional tone. The structure of Virginia Woolf's suicide notes is date. The writer did not write the date, only the day of the suicide. In Suicide Note 1, the date is Sunday, and the Suicide Note 2 is the date is Tuesday. Greetings. The writer used salutation dearest in both notes. Suicide Note 1 is addressed to her sister, Vanessa Bell, and Suicide Note 2 is addressed to her husband, Leonardo Woolf. Content. The first sentence. In Suicide Note 1, you can't think how I love your letter. In Suicide Note 2, I feel certain that I'm going mad again. In Suicide Note 1, the writer starts the letter with a friendly pleasantry, which shows that the writer and the addressee exchange letters regularly. On the other hand, in Suicide Note 2, the writer starts the notes with a statement. The first sentence in a statement is a very important one. It is usually a point when the writer decides to start the statement, including the reason for writing the text or for the events that follows. In the body, in personal letter, the writer usually writes events that have occurred and what emotions in Suicide Note 1. In Suicide Note 1, but I feel I have gone too and come back again. I'm certain now that I'm going mad again. It is just as it was the first time. I'm always hearing voice, and it shouldn't get over it now. We have been perfectly happy until these last few weeks when this horror began. In Suicide Note 2, I feel we can't go through another of those terrible times, and I shan't recover this time. I begin to hear voice, I can't concentrate. So I'm doing what seems the best thing to do. You have given me the greatest possible happiness. You have been in every way all that anyone could be. I don't think two people could have been happier till this terrible disease come. I can't fight any longer. I know that I'm spoiling your life, that without me you could work, and you will, I know. You see, I can't even write this properly. I can't read. In both suicide notes, the writer wrote about what happening at that time. It seems aware that she was suffering from a mental illness, and it was not the time she was in that state. Both notes also show the rather hopeless state and happiness which caused by her worsened mental condition. In Suicide Note 2, the writer shows guilt. She blamed herself and considered herself a burden, believing that her husband could work and live better without her. Also, 2008, page 149, note that Suicide Note is brief, concise, and highly proportional, yet there seems to be degree of evasiveness. In this case, her notes contain evasiveness, because the writer did not explicitly state her intention to take her own life to the person she loved. The sentence, I can't fight any longer, shows her exhaustion and hopelessness. The strongest sentence is, so I'm doing what seems the best thing to do. She was clear she had made the best decision to end her life. In conclusion, from the LIWC analysis, it can be concluded that Virginia Woolf's suicide notes are genuine. It expressed in the notes towards her family were positive, especially towards her husband. In both notes, Virginia shows her gratitude for her husband Leonardo. Even though the writer did not explicitly state her intention to commit suicide to the people she loved, her sentence showed she was serious about ending her life. Based on the analysis, the writer shows guilt and depression. She appears to blame herself for her suicidal act. In the note which Virginia Woolf left for her sister, we can see her request for her sister to help her husband after he died, along with the hope that her husband would do better without her. It seems that the intention of Virginia Woolf's notes were not to explain why she was going to kill herself, but to comfort her beloved family after her death. Based on the forensic semantic analysis, Virginia Woolf's suicidal act was caused by her depression, but it was not because of the war's onset of World War II, and the effect of the Blitz like the local coroner suggests at the time. The result of this analysis support the statement of other psychologists that her depression was caused by bipolar disorder, which also accompanied by change in her cognitive process and abilities that made her unable to work, and thus leading on to her suicide. I think that's all of my presentation. I hope you like it. Thank you. Bye bye.